Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, executive producer of the Female Solution radio show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadet. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. What if you could live to be 120 years old and remain active, healthy, alert, and vibrant? Our bodies are made up of cells that are constantly rejuvenating. So if we take proper care of ourselves, we can literally defy aging. Join us every Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time to learn about self-care from Suson Essentials on the Female Solution Blog Talk Radio Show. Learn how to help your body and your cells feel rejuvenated each day through proper nutrition, sleep, frequency medicine, and many unconventional methods of self-care. I'm Jodi Suson. Join me and my amazing guests by calling in at 515-605-9325 and press 1 to speak. We'll help you achieve a breakthrough in your health today.
Well, Grand Rising, beautiful souls in the world. Welcome to Suson Essentials Self-Cell Care, hosted by the Female Solution. Blog Talk Radio, Naima, our executive producer. Today we have, I think, just two amazing young women that I met at all places at the grocery store. I think it was to go to the grocery store, at least like 10 years ago. They used to say, go to the grocery store, you meet your date or whatever. I met my sisters. So anyway, what we're going to talk about is how to basically change the channel or the frequency when you don't like life's program. What does that look like? And are you stuck with your current reality? And the answer is no. So I'll just cut to the chase there. Are you stuck with your current reality? The answer is no. And we have two young women. I'm going to bring them on right now.
Hi.
Good morning, Bianca.
Grand Rising.
Grand Rising. I know. I always say good morning, Grand Rising. It's been a year and I still get Grand Rising out of my mouth very well, but I do it from time to time. So there you go. And Grand Rising, Briana.
Hello, Grand Rising, Rich Rising. How is everybody?
We're
Yes.
good. Let me just adjust a few things here. There we go. And then we have Naima Latif, executive producer, Grand Rising. And
There's an echo. I think somebody might have to turn off their phone. If they're connected by phone, we got a little bit of an echo.
are you guys
You might
listening
have to go
to Bianca and Briana?
Yeah, we're too close. Right.
Say what?
We're too close.
Okay.
Are you in the same space?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When one is not talking, the other one mutes their phone. That might be an easy workaround.
Yeah, because I'm using, okay.
My eyes are this morning. Don't know why. Maybe they needed to get cleaned. So
Yeah.
there you go. So we met, Briana and I and Bianca and I think in the aisle for baked goods. Simple Foods. It was Simple Foods bakery items that I think we were looking at because it's really good. And we're going to talk about food. But before we talk about food, I want to share, I would like for you to share your journey. You're both young mothers and have two beautiful children. And Bianca, if you would share your story first, because Briana's story is really the solution, right? So, would you share your story first about childbirth?
Okay. Mine is already unmuted.
Briana, I'll just.
Oh, my.
Here we go. Done deal. Go ahead, Bianca.
Okay, so let me just start by saying my spiritual journey really started when I was like 17 in high school. I think that when I finally got there, you know, you have these expectations. You see the movies, you're like, oh, school's going to be a certain way. And then when you see how the system really is, how the school system is, how the kids are, what they allowed us to do or what they act like they don't see. I mean, we used to go across the street and smoke weed in the park right across the street from the school, you know, and it brought me a different sense of the school system and the system as a whole, because it's not as serious as they make it seem. So it's in a sense, because you're taught to take it so seriously, and then you see the very people that are in power and how much they manipulate it or how they just show the complete opposite in a sense. So really after that, my
Bianca,
perception changed.
Bianca, I just want to like add to that for a moment.
Yeah.
So when I was in high school, they had a smoking lounge, and that's where I didn't do it because I didn't smoke.
They had a lounge at the school. Well, I guess
at the school to smoke cigarettes and pot, and the pot was under the radar, right? So.
Oh, wow.
And if anybody knows where I went to high school, you can figure it out real fast. Check my bio. Yeah.
Wow. Oh God. Right. So they had
entitlement at that school. I'm going to tell you now.
Wow. I could imagine. And then you get really close with the teachers. You get cool with the teachers, and they let you go out on your own. And then you're like, okay, so you just have to know the right people. You got to know the right people to get yourself around sometimes. Okay, so it really changed my perception on the system and maybe what my parents was teaching me to look up to, or what success was going to be. I mean, it wasn't anything like what they were preaching. So that really just, it really opened up my eyes a lot. So long story short, when I finally decided to have a baby, I did know that I did want to have birth at home, because I had already seen a lot of information about women in the hospitals, and I already had done my research a little bit on my own, and I realized that children are going to come out when they're ready to come out. So really the medical system like pushes to kind of do things on their timing, and the whole thing about becoming spiritually conscious and even being plant-based is to change what we see as normal and return to nature, really, so um like I said, I really wanted to give birth at home, but when it came down to it, when I was in labor going through all that pain and I had my child's father and my sister with me, they were so scared because they had not read anything or watched any videos prior, at least on YouTube. So they were just like, oh my God, you're in so much pain. Let's go to the hospital. Let's go to the hospital. And I was like, I was still kind of out of it, but I was still there. And I was just like, no, I don't want to go. But once the pain became really just unbearable, I just wanted to make sure that everything was okay. And when I finally went, I was like 8 centimeters. I was already about to, I was already there.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why everything was like that. And I wish I would have done so many
centimeters. How many centimeters do you need to be childless here? I mean, I've had lots of children, but they're all
right. And that 10 centimeters is when they
10. Yes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, because that might area of expertise. Sorry.
Yeah. So 10. I was basically already there, but when I got there and they were just like helping me a little bit, that they had you with the mask on because of COVID, so laboring in a mask. I mean, it was insane.
Oh, so you delivered in what, 2020?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right when the pandemic had started, so they were like,
wow,
go on, keep the mask on. So it was
yeah.
brutal.
So,
it was brutal.
And what happened to breathe? Because I have seen that where they go like, breathe. Are you trying to do that with a mask on?
Yeah. And even and I didn't even know that when you are pushing out the baby, they're telling you to hold the breath in. They don't want you to even let out a noise. They tell you hold on 10.
Why?
They tell you when I don't know why, but they tell you when
the idea is, and I don't know how accurate it is, but the idea is you're giving oxygen to the baby in order to
and that force
to breathe. And so you breathe in, and that's supposed to help the baby to have the oxygen to, push, and then you breathe out, and then you breathe in again to give the baby more energy to push, and you breathe out. So did you have Lamaze or any of that breathing kind of techniques before going into labor?
No. Yeah.
And
even then I was just trying to, at least when I was in labor, we did know a little bit, okay, I do need to take deep, long breaths. I need to be relaxed. And that's just kind of what I kept in mind for the most part. I didn't do anything really strategic, but that was the complete opposite. I mean, that was put everything inwards, and in turn, that caused a lot of trauma in my stomach, and it caused just a lot of disconnect to the birth in general. I know right after I did all of that, I mean, one, I was so out of breath from having the oxygen mask on, and then them telling me to push so many times without me being ready, without the baby being ready to come out. Yeah. And with telling me to keep the breath in, I mean, I almost damn died. I mean, to be honest, I was by the time
damn died.
Yeah, I love her phrasing.
Right? I said, please, I can't anymore. They were like, do it. Her heart rate is going down. Do it. I was like, okay, there goes the fear mongering. So they push you with the fear, and you're like, okay, I have to do this. So you put in that last breath, and by the end of it, I mean, I was just like this, like I didn't hold the baby. I didn't smile. I was just there. And then I lost so much blood. Yeah. And I didn't see it, but her father saw it, and I was just there. He was just smiling. I remember him trying to smile at me, connect with me, and I was just like, and then right after they're like, okay, let's sew you up. And I was like, oh, please, I'm out of it. Like, and they sew you up there, the baby's on the other counter. It's such a disconnect. Like, they're like, do you want her to have the vitamin K? Do you want us to put lubricant in her eyes? Because some of the bacteria from your vagina might have gotten in her eyes and cause an infection. And oh, do you want to give her vaccines? Do you want to give her this, that, and the third?
We're doing this right after you give birth.
Right after. And then they know to do it, when your mind is not all the way there. So you're like, yeah, sure, give her all of that. And I was just like, give her the vitamin K, give her whatever eye things. But everything else, no, she's good. Don't give her anything else. But still, even that, it was like,
wait, can I back up a minute? Okay, you're going to have to second grade me because I haven't done this. So, wait a second. So one thing, so I saw a movie. People heard me, some people have heard me say this on the show. I saw a movie in freshman year about how babies were born, which kept me a virgin for a very long time. Okay. So, and I knew that I was not going to have kids.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I did, and part of that was because, and shortly, like, I don't know, like a few years after that, I tore my anti-cruciate ligament in my right knee. So now I know what that pain feels like, having a torn muscle. And you talked about they have to sew you up. Now, did they have to sew you up because you pushed out harder and faster than what the baby was ready and the dilation wasn't ready? Is that what you're saying? Like, had you waited until 10?
Right. I feel like it was probably a combination. It was a combination of, one, I think the biggest thing is being on your back, which there's just so many misconceptions about what you're supposed to do when you're giving birth. And I feel like whether the hospital knows or doesn't know, we ain't gonna say, but they know that, okay? That you're not supposed to lay on your back because the gravity is really what's supposed to help the baby come out.
Right. It's a couple things. If I can interject a bit, and I wish I had done a lot more studying on some natural things to do, because I would have definitely had my child differently as well, because a lot of things the hospital don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe Viata might even join us. She's a doula. She actually helps women have natural childbirth. But
Briana's a doula.
Oh, great. Well, yeah. Well, a lot of these things as well that she can probably corroborate, especially about first of all, like you said, about the gravity. Now, that's how a lot of indigenous women give birth. You're not laying down, you're squatting so that the gravity can help. And like you say, the child comes out when it's ready. And we know a lot of people whose heads have been deformed by forceps when they try to pull the child out.
Yep.
It's horrible.
Yes.
And then the other thing is you lose blood, you lose the afterbirth, and your body goes into shock afterwards because of the sudden loss of blood. So you're right, you're not in your right mind because the blood is basically drained from your brain. So then they ask you all these technical questions of what to do. You're not in your right mind.
This would be like a questionnaire I can't believe this happened like whatever, a year and a half ago or whatever. This is crazy because they should have those questions before you go into surgery. So that's like, having knee surgery, right? And then taking somebody off of the anesthetic to ask them if it's okay to sew them up.
Right. Like you're in pain. They do whatever you got to do. I'm in pain, So how are you going to, right? So it's a lot of things. And as we've always said on this show about, how hospitals are not designed for our best interest or our health. But, and I think of the experience that I had, and I appreciate the doctor who delivered my child. But I think if I were, of course I won't be, but if I were to have another child, or probably how would I have a woman doctor, a doula, somebody who is woman sensitive, because my male doctor, I love him, appreciate his, good delivery, but there's a level of sensitivity that men aren't going to have. And, I apologize to any male obstetricians out there if I sound biased, but I am, because you don't feel what I feel. And you're not going to understand my experience. And I need somebody who understands the experience so that they're not impatient when I'm in pain, or, not understanding when my body is shaking because I just lost all this blood and I'm in shock, because that's all part of what happens. All these things that I think male doctors have not been trained in the kinds of sensitivity that is necessary for that very important experience of bringing forth
one of the most important.
You know, yeah, the most important. And so all the things that they've been doing medical wise have been so harmful over the years. And I'm sure you're going to talk about the breastfeeding aspect of it too. But I remember because a lady was next to me in the room. She had given birth the same day that I had. And I remember the first thing they did is try to say, oh, and you want to put your baby on formula, right? You know,
right.
I
told you.
The worst thing you can do. But if you don't know any better, because she was like, oh yeah, okay. And I'm like, no, I'm breastfeeding, you know.
Right.
So it's all these things that they do, pushing vaccines, pushing formula, pushing all these unhealthy things for a profit, and it doesn't benefit us. So, you know, I'm just sharing my story, but you know, go ahead with your account, because it's very recent. So, you know.
Okay, so I know, so after that, we did try to latch her on, and again, still out of it. At some point I did stand up to finally use the bathroom, and when I stood up, like my heart rate shot up to like 150, 160, and I almost passed out. And I had this ringing in my ears that still sometimes when I stand up, I feel it, but it was this ringing in my ears, which now I know the correlation is when you have a loss of blood flow and oxygen to the brain, that's what causes you to feel like you're going to pass out. So losing all that blood on top of basically medical malpractice, because, you know, they also winded up using a vacuum or whatever the hell to try to get her out. I don't know what that was about.
Excuse me, pause. Whoa.
Which I don't know what it is, but I know that
some kind of sucking machine to get her.
They have a machine.
Oh no.
I don't know.
That's horrible. I know they got the forceps. I don't know about the vacuum cleaner.
I don't even remember. I can't tell you because I don't even remember what it looked like, but I know that they had it on the paper as a part of what they used. And I know it was just some kind of machine, which they said it was supposed to help suction out her head. And yeah, it's just a whole bunch of force, which obviously caused so much damage to my body. But
oh wow.
And when I finally sat back down, you know, I told them what had just happened. And they already had my hand, you know, they already have all that stuff attached to you. So I still had the IV thing on my finger that was tracking the heart rate and whatnot. So they already saw that it had spiked up. And then they tried to tell me, well, maybe you have COVID.
Oh,
what's the correlation?
Trying to sell a vaccine, yeah.
And they said a lot of women have came in and given birth and caught COVID, and that they experienced these symptoms. I said, I don't see the correlation at all, but okay. They said, let's give you a test. And then they said, you know, her father has to leave. He'll have to come back tomorrow, and we'll have to put your daughter in NICU. So they put her in NICU. They took her away. They gave me the test. I waited hours and hours. They never changed me out of my room. I laid there, still had not eaten. You know what I mean? I haven't eaten that whole day. And I hadn't slept that whole day. So I was just all types of messed up. And after that, in the morning, I know that long story short, they gave me a blood transfusion. They had given the baby formula because they took her out of the room. So they weren't allowing me to breastfeed. Wow. After the blood transfusion, I felt a little bit better, but it didn't really, it's just a whole lot of disconnect, and especially just with our community. I mean, just from the start of teaching your children about sex, about conscious sexuality, about love, about connecting with a Black man or a Black woman, whatever the case may be. And just because it really starts from there, and everything else just kind of like spirals. And, you know, my mom had a C-section with me and my sister, and she had my sister at 19.
Wow. And that's another thing that they push are these cesarean births, because
of course.
they get paid more money for that. And so they have surgery, because that's what a C-section is.
Right.
And then they tell you, well, once you've had a C-section, you got to have it any other birth. That's not true.
Which is not true.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Well, you know, I was watching a show. Was it a week ago, Bianca, that I called you about that?
Yeah.
Okay. It was about witches and demons and vampires, right?
Mhm.
But don't let that thwart you. 'Cause so what it was there was basically a witch who married a vampire, and it's bringing different cultures together. Basically, they're getting people out of their other ways of segregating people.
Okay, right.
That really witches and vampires are supposed to be together. So anyway, she had this baby. They have this baby. And had I saw that in high school, I probably would have had kids. Right? Because he's got his hands wrapped. He's behind her as she's giving birth.
Yeah.
He's holding her lovingly.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Right? She's I mean, she's in pain, but it's actually a beautiful pain. The pain, because she's giving life, and she's not on her back, Bianca. She's on the side of the bed, standing up, and he's holding her up, so the baby gravitational pull, right?
Right. So you can fall onto the bed.
God gave us gravitational pull, right?
Right.
Why should we do all the work?
That's what gravity's for.
Yeah. So, and when I saw the love, I turned to Andrew, my husband, and I just said, well, I would have had kids if I saw that.
Because it's not supposed to be like this cold medical procedure. It's supposed to be a loving thing between the two parents. Yes. I mean, I'm so grateful my husband was there holding my hand through the whole thing and all of that. But there were decades ago, they didn't even allow the fathers to be in the room. And it's supposed to be something that you share with the person that helped bring along.
You make the baby.
Yeah, the one who helped make the baby. But they in the room. They just have to, stand outside and wait and hope. And they had this whole cold, sterile medical atmosphere to bring a child into the world. That's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a loving family experience.
Yeah, it's bringing a soul into the world. And definitely when I saw my first home birth and water birth is definitely what changed my mind on what birth is supposed to be. It doesn't have to be painful. It shouldn't be painful. It shouldn't be. I guess both of the kids are up. It shouldn't be painful. It's supposed to be beautiful. And it does, and it can be orgasmic. I mean, there's women. If you're in the right environment and you're feeling good, you have the right mindset, and you can do it. I mean, it can feel good. Some women feel good. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think about how the baby got there. It felt good, right?
Yeah.
It can feel good with them coming out.
It really can. If we understood, like you say, instead of trying to force things, your body is designed to be properly lubricated. Like you said, just like when they got in there, the whole process, your body does all the right things to be properly lubricated. So there's no pain, there's no force. It's not supposed to be painful or traumatic. And our bodies are designed for, if we do things right and naturally, it's not going to be this horrible experience that's painful. If you look at animals in the wild, when they give birth, nobody's screaming, ah! I mean, it's a bit of discomfort, but in those moments when they're, trying to get through the birth canal and everything, but it's not supposed to be this painful, traumatic experience that it ends up being with human beings who don't know anything.
Well, now hold on. I'm just going to bring a caveat to that. And by the way, I just want to acknowledge Briana is feeding both children, and then they're going to they're going to be sitting on their laps, which is fine with me.
Oh, nice.
Family show. Like anything goes, right? So, Briana finishes helping with the kids, we're going to bring Briana right back on. Just wanted to let the audience know. And then the other thing is, I want to say two other things. One, at the age of 8, I also saw my horse give birth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She was not happy. I'm just going to say. Yeah. I think she was forced into having a foal, right? Oh. And so she didn't want to have a baby. And so she was mean to her baby. And we had to find a surrogate mom. Okay, so there's that.
So is she like mated, you know, that sort of thing where we need you to produce a child for, you know,
For racing.
Racing. Oh, okay. Yeah.
She was an Arab.
Yeah.
She was an Arab. And she did not want to have children.
Mm.
You know, we breed horses, right?
Well,
and they sent her out to Arizona to get bred from Illinois, right?
Wow.
I mean, like, really, right? Like that's crappy.
Yeah.
Number two,
yeah.
And it's interesting. I'm reflecting back as you guys are saying this. Sadie, we had a black lab, a retriever, and she had babies, and I think it was the same thing, and she didn't like her children.
Well, that's a lesson for us. No female wants to be forced to have sex or give birth against her will.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let me just piggyback too. It changes everything. Most women are not, you know, in the know of that, but it changes everything. I mean, the way you think, the way you feel, the way food is now. I mean, you think that you experience those symptoms just when you're pregnant, but I mean, you just literally brought a whole life into the world. I mean, there's nothing that's really going to be the same, you know? And you do kind of come back. I'm just now starting to kind of come back to the comfortability that I had within myself before I had the baby. But even then, there's still obviously so many changes, and still to this day, just feeling a little weak and things like that. I mean, you were the portal they came through.
Thank
I
you.
mean, they take everything with them when they come out, you know? So it's just, it's insane. It's amazing, but it's insane.
So I'm 31. We're going to go to commercial. We go to commercial break every 30 minutes.
Oh, nice.
So I'm going to run a few commercials. If you need to grab water or something, or, you know, this is the time to do it. Now, for my listeners, you can go grab water, but you must come back.
Yes. Come back, please.
Come back. So just saying, we need you here. And I need to change my banner here. So here's the thing. If you have a question, and I just need to modify this, you can call into the show. And let me just give you the phone number here. It's 515-605-9325. You can listen to the show that way, or you can press 1 to speak and ask anybody a question. So, and Briana is going to be in here, and it looks like in a minute. And but we're going to go to commercial first, and let me get that going. But meanwhile, call in, don't leave, but you got a couple minutes. All right.
Hi, I'm Jodi Suson with Suson Essentials. I started Suson Essentials in 2015 because of a personal health journey. I was over-medicated and put on 19 different medications. And yes, I reversed all my chronic diseases using plant and energy-based healing. It was amazing. At Suson Essentials, we support both consumers and businesses, and we do that with helping your employees or yourself with a food as medicine mindset. How Suson Essentials supports businesses and consumers is we teach people about a food as medicine mindset. So we support people on how to support their own immune system, how to support their brain health, how to support their emotional well-being. And we do that all with plant and an energy-based healing.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Cell Care with Jodi Suson. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Wellbeing with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution.
Okay, we have one more commercial. And I want you to listen up to this. This is going live on the 23rd of March. It's called Quick. And I'm going to tell you that it's been in beta test since November. They've been working on this program, which is a new e-commerce site, which can easily displace Amazon pretty quickly. In a nutshell, when you buy something like gym shoes, and you share that link that you get after you buy your gym shoes with someone else and they buy those gym shoes or any variety of that brand, you get paid.
That's great.
For your purchases. Let's listen up, people. Listen to this.
Welcome to Quick Click, where customers can buy, share, and earn. Meet Sam. Sam owns an e-commerce business that sells athletic shoes and running gear. Sam wants to increase her sales without increasing marketing spend. So she decides to list her products on Quick Click. On Quick Click, her loyal customers can get paid for sharing her products with their friends. Sam uploads her products to the marketplace, just like she would on Amazon or Shopify. Meet Laura. Laura is in the market for a new pair of shoes and comes across Sam's brand on the Quick Click marketplace. Laura is able to purchase the shoes and check out like she would on any other e-commerce site. After purchasing, Laura receives a unique Quick Link that she can share with friends to begin earning quick cash. Her friend Jessica opens Laura's Quick Link on her phone and purchases the pair of shoes. Because Jessica purchases using Laura's Quick Link, Laura receives quick cash in her account. After purchasing, Jessica can now share her own Quick Link and begin earning quick cash as well. But Quick Click is more than just your typical referral or affiliate platform. Quick Click rewards customers for sales they directly and indirectly influence. So, for every sale Jessica's new Quick Link makes, Laura will earn additional quick cash as well, making the potential for earning exponential. Laura and Jessica can transfer their quick cash balance to their bank account at any time, or can even use quick cash to make additional purchases in the app. Meanwhile, Sam can just watch as the sales roll in. Best of all, she doesn't have to worry about costs, since she is only spending marketing dollars when actual purchases are made. Start buying, sharing, and earning today at quickclick.com.
Okay, so welcome back, everybody. Let's get Brianna in here. Welcome back, Brianna. Do we have the kids?
Mine is in the bathroom with me. You want to say hi?
Hold on. I'm sorry, Brianna. You were muted. Hi, beautiful. Hi. So, yeah. So, I mean, it's about like changing life program, which happened when you were giving birth. So it makes sense, complete sense to me to have the kids on. So,
Right.
Come on.
No, where else?
2020.
They aren't going back where they came from, are they?
No.
Anytime soon, at least.
That's so funny. So we were talking about Bianca, your experience in the hospital, having.
Ask me a question.
Sorry, what?
Ask me a question. So it's not like.
Well, I have a question for you. I know one of the things that, like you mentioned, you at the time that you had the baby, you were kind of in shock and didn't hold her and stuff like that. And I know when the natural thing, especially when you're at home or whatever, the first thing to do is give you to the baby because you get it's a bonding thing. Did any of the doctors or anything talk about the bonding process and how that needs to happen, right away or whatever, or even the breastfeeding process, all of that, did they talk about that at all at the hospital?
I think a small bit. They do they do, I think, make it their duty to put the baby on you like right after you give birth, or at least that's what they're supposed to do. And I think that they did maybe for a quick second, but I was so out of it that even if they did, it wasn't a long enough time that I really felt her. Not until after they gave her the shot and put stuff in her eyes or whatever the case may be. Then when I finally held her was when I had a little bit more connection. But even then, I was still out of it. It wasn't until that next following day where I finally got to visit her in the NICU. And I tried to latch her on myself. When I finally held her and looked at her, I bawled out crying. Every emotion that I had, that I should have had, or that I wanted to have right after having her, I had, a day later when I finally was coherent and could see her.
The body was in such trauma. I mean, if they traumatize you so much, you can't even go through the whole emotional thing because your body is in shock and beat all up.
And it really just needs to be taken so much more serious. Like, it just everything now, like, I like every practice that we've normalized that I really wish was more natural. I look at it with just such a different perception. Like, it's our life. So it's like the experience that you have should really be so beautiful. And it can be if as long as we're living in harmony. And it's like, I try to really like make that my lifestyle, because I love the way it feels to be present and to feel things deeply. And a lot of people don't get to experience like life, like, cause that's the life force. Just going about your day-to-day things, that's living in a sense. But to really be deep in what you're doing, taste your food, prepare it yourself, even just being in love, feeling love, doing things genuinely, like all those things really deserve to have a great human experience. And I wish that for everybody. I wish that.
That makes a lot of sense. Life should be lived to the fullest.
Yeah. Well, amen. I've been saying that since I was a child. Life is not a dress rehearsal. I'd like to have Briana share her journey about having, giving birth, especially as a doula.
Yeah.
Do you want to share what your experience was like?
Absolutely. I had, for the most part, a good experience when it came to my birth. I actually had the most ideal for most moms, especially when they have like natural births. So I did have a water natural birth.
Wow.
I was laboring 20 hours. I delivered the baby with my own 2 hands. His father was there, and he was assisting in getting like hot water. He was like boiling hot water on the stove, and then he was like pouring in the bathtub. My cousin was also there, and she's a nurse.
Whoa. Why are we boiling hot water and putting it in the bathtub?
My bathtub stopped making hot water.
What?
My bathtub stopped making hot water.
Okay. So you need to be in hot water, but the hot water was working. So you had to heat the water.
Yes, because like when you are like just about to give birth, you get chills and your temperature rises and drops and rises and drops. Yeah. So my temperature kept changing. The water was cold, so it was freezing. So I had to have lukewarm water to like ease the pain. But he came out in 2 pushes.
Wow.
We went to the clinic the next day.
Wow.
He was all good. I had no tears.
So
I was
you
getting
didn't
up
have to
and
be
walking.
sewn
You had to be sewn up, right? Yeah.
That to me, like, I just need to focus on this for a moment, please.
Okay. I'm like, what?
Yes, you don't tear naturally if your body tears, but like we said, it's forced.
Yeah.
If you wait and take the time when the baby is ready, then your body will also have expanded enough, and there will be no tear.
Okay, so if we have any of your friends listening, okay, which I hope you invited your friends to listen.
Right, I'm about to get
because my friends have, had babies and like sent them to college now, right? So that ship fails. Maybe they can share with their children.
Right.
But I mean, I'm just saying, like like they teach us that. Like I had the mindset that you have to be sewn up after having a baby, and I'm like, no,
No.
not happening to me.
No. Your
And they
body
get an extra
expands
check
to
even when they do
expand
that
enough
procedure. Like every little procedure, even the slightest procedures that are withheld in Western hospitalization institutions, though they get a check for it. They get a check
I
for most of
know.
those things. So even sewing you up, because my doctor wanted me to get a C-section.
Dollar
I had
figure
no
for it.
reason to get a C-section. I literally had no reason to get a C-section. So the fact that my last checkup, he was like C-section, that's a whole 50K in somebody's pocket for a C-section that I didn't ask for. That, like I said, when I was doing my doula work and I had my first client, and she naturally wanted to do a water birth, but her BMI, they were telling her it's impossible for her to have a water birth because of her BMI.
Explain what BMI is, could you?
That's your body mass index.
Oh, okay.
So that's just essentially, like, I believe that's like your ratio to your weight, to your height, to how healthy you are. It has something to do with like your weight, like your body mass, your weight.
Height ratio. Okay.
Yeah, they said she couldn't do it because of her BMI was off. And then when she did get in the hospital, they were giving her, I think it was Cervex, one of those pills to help contracting because she wasn't contracting. So they gave that to her.
You really need
but
to
mind you,
There's probably
the
an
adverse
essential oil for that.
effects, exactly, the adverse effects of these medications is your blood pressure is going to go up, your heart rate is going to go up, the baby is going to get triggered, baby's going to be uncomfortable. They're taking those symptoms and saying something is wrong with the baby. Now we got to give you something else. Cytotec, I think it was called Cytotec. Now we're going to give you another dose every 6 hours, which, mind you, this is a check that they're getting. This is a big fat check.
Wow.
And it's for no reason. Mind you, I'm kind of nosy, just a little bit nosy. So I read the doctor's computer to see, like, what they had scheduled for my good sis. And they already scheduled her a C-section from the beginning. We were there for 3 days. So they already premeditated what she's going to get done. Like, we already know this might be a vulnerable person because she was already scared. She was already nervous, and they could pick that up. And I'm the type where I'm not a bystander, so I'm going to speak. So clearly they didn't like me, which is okay. It's life. But they create the symptoms, and then she had to get an epidural, which I knew she could have done it, but they gave her an epidural. She's like signing off the paper. I'm rereading the paper because I'm like,
can you explain what an epidural is for all people who haven't had a child? Can you explain what an epidural is also?
Oh, the epidural is basically, it's a anesthesia, which it numbs you from your waist down, so you won't be able to feel the baby, but you can't push, but you feel the pressure. So you're on your back, 1, you can't feel your legs, 2, people on your face, you have everything tied up to you, strapped onto you. Nowadays you're only allowed 1 visitor, so only you and the doula could be in the room and your significant other. So it's stressful for moms. But yeah, they create these situations and they get paid to resolve situations that they created. That's why I don't like the damn doctors, because I can't. But I had a good experience. When I went the next day, the doctor, my son's doctor, was like trying to pack him with like the vitamin K. They're giving the kids 1,200 milligrams of vitamin K, which is essentially a synthetic vitamin that they created. It's not the real vitamin K, which you can get from kale.
Well, okay, so then I want to type in here, because when you say things that I think are so important, I want to really just expand upon it for a moment.
Yeah.
So there are vitamins which are sourced naturally from plants and minerals. Well, minerals are minerals, but yeah. So, but anyway, you get from the earth. And then there are things that are created in a plant, not from a plant, but in a manufacturing plant.
Right, a manufacturing plant.
And
absolutely.
And so it's those synthetics that, nearly put me in my grave as well.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I
It's
typically
so crazy.
start.
No, it's so crazy. It's
Yeah.
so crazy because it'll be like when you look at them, like the molecular structure of the copies, like they have folate and then they have folic acid, which the folate comes from the plant-based derivatives. And then you have the folic acid, which is like, it's like a little carbohydrate, or it's like one of those atoms off. So it's like they try to mimic Mother Nature in the best way possible, but they end up causing so much, so much detrimental issues to your health, like damage. Yeah, detrimental damage to somebody's health.
So, and here's the thing: when things are synthetic, the body doesn't recognize it anyway.
Right.
It causes disease.
Synthetic. Yeah.
Right. And if it, depending on the synthetic, it will be stored in your fat cells, which is how you can get long-term disease.
Absolutely.
I want to acknowledge some of our listeners here. So we have Zelda Robinson, who's also our Monday morning talk show host. Zelda, I encourage you to have these beautiful ladies on your show as well. Just going to say. He says, Grand Rising, beautiful Queen sisters. Thank you for sharing your journey, because not all women have that birthing experience or even want to. Jodi and I are in the same birthing boat. Yeah, we are, Dolly. And then I want to share, my friend Janet.
Yeah.
Bully you.
They bully you to get all these.
I was just about to talk about that.
Yeah,
It's
she has
crazy.
vitamin K at birth, along with hepatitis vaccine for a newborn.
That's what I was about to say. Like,
yeah. Well, we're all channeling. Just say.
Yeah, we're all like, do download.
They tried to give me some pills or something afterwards. And my husband's like, "What is this?" And I don't know, but don't take it.
Yeah,
so I don't know what it was. I did not take any pills.
And then we have the Smith. She says, "I'm here. LOL. I'm just working."
Oh, that's my sister. Yeah. But I'm sending the link to this show to my daughter. She hasn't started having children yet. I mean, she not even dating yet or anything. But as far as I know, I don't know. She might be, but or I want her to be prepared. Mentally prepared to take control of her life whenever she gets to the point where she's ready to start a family, so that she can make sure that she does not allow herself to be bullied into doing unnatural things. Because she's a very natural-minded person, health-wise and everything, into yoga and all that. And I'm sure she's probably done a lot of study on this. But once you get in the hospital, like you say, you get bullied. And then, if you're in pain or distress, or they create the pain and distress, then they'll try to add some more procedures so they can, like you say, make some more money.
And that's where learning your birthrights and learning your pregnancy birthrights, especially when you get a doula, they should be able to go over your pregnancy rights. So that will help you be more confident, because without that background knowledge, they can bully you and act like you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They'll act like you won't know what you're talking about. So,
Brianna,
fast forward. Go ahead.
So when I usually start the show, and for some reason I didn't do it today, I usually share my health journey. And I think right now, I think this is why, because we want to do it right now. Because a lot of practitioners will make you feel like you don't know what you're talking about. Not only when you're having a baby, but when you're even trying to reclaim your own health.
Generally, like something could be wrong and they will tell you the opposite because of whatever their scientific, technology says. But the day after we went to the hospital, or we didn't take them to the hospital, it was my clinic. Like I was saying, they give the babies the 1,200 milligrams, which is way too much. That would create blood clots. Rather than get rid of those blood clots. So they give the vitamin K to avoid blood clots. They were telling me to put my baby in a crib, or he would get SIDS, which is sudden infant death syndrome. And they use a lot of word magic and a lot of wordplay, which I take that very, very seriously. So she kept insinuating that he was sick already. I said, my son is good. He's good. He has the perfect weight. He had everything was good. So it's just the fact that they try to create these issues to pressure you and peer pressure you into situations that are uncomfortable and that you don't want to be in. Because he's unvaccinated, completely unvaccinated. I asked the doctor about the MR5. She tried to give him like vitamin D that had rat poison in it. Because you have to think about it, a lot of those natural flavorings or those natural things that they put in as their derivatives of plants and stuff, a lot of this stuff is seriously crazy. Like, you feel me? It's really crazy. So it's just really about, like, again, the doctor was saying, like, she didn't want to argue with me. She was like, I'm not about to argue with you. And I was like, lady, you're not arguing with me. I'm just saying I don't want to put my son with I don't want to put my son with like MR5, which is like the aborted baby fetuses. I don't want to inject my baby with that. So when I asked
so here's the thing, they're saying, I don't want to argue with you. Well, we're not arguing. It's just a no. And you can accept no as well as you can accept yes, right?
Right.
Not an argument.
This is my decision. It's not an argument.
In his paperwork, she put, I refuse the vaccine. So it makes it seem like it's a thing to where, like, I have to get it. I'm refusing to take it. So it gives this negative notation. So like the Western medicine world and their wordplay and their word manifestation, like I seen it like in real time with my client, to where they're saying like, now we're going to give you this and you're going to be okay. And now we're going to give you this and they're going to be okay. And now we're going to give you this and you're going to be okay. And the whole time they're going to give her a C-section anyways, regardless if she takes the Cytotec, regardless if she has the epidural. She took all of those things for 3 days straight and still had to take a C-section.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's insanity. So they bamboozled, like, the dad, I couldn't really do much. So I know now when I do work, I am refraining from hospitals because, people almost get cussed out. I almost cussed out the doctor because I'm like, you're tripping. Because it's like, it was my first experience.
Well, here's the thing, though, Briana.
Don't judge me, people.
They just don't know. And I'm going to show you guys something. I have it on the screen here. Hold on. Let me just kind of clean up.
Oh, I used some good essential oils, and I rubbed it between the mom's ankles and like the back, the pressure points, for her to contract more. It was great.
Yeah. So, and see, these are things that hospitals should know, but they don't learn any natural methods of doing anything. That's why you just have to take back control of the birthing process, because having a baby is not a medical procedure. It's a natural procedure. They've made it into a medical procedure so they can make the money. And they every step is a dollar figure behind.
You've got to follow. You always have to follow the money. Period. Whenever anything's happening, you have to follow the money.
And essentially, the money, that's not even the biggest thing. It's that it's that they know that it damages the human being. I mean,
they don't even care.
That's really encouraging.
Then you got to get more medical procedures to deal with the damage that they cause. Like you say, they cause the damage.
Well, and so here's the thing, Bianca. Was that Bianca who said it? Because I can't see anybody anymore. But anyway, but the thing is, if they're damaging the human being at birth, that's their revenue stream.
Yes.
Okay.
You've been paying them all your life.
It always goes back to the money. And money's not evil, but it can be used for evil. Yeah. Wow, I'm getting a WhatsApp call in the middle of my show. Okay.
But that's true, because they depend on seniors to be so sick that you're basically a
12 medications.
12
medications, one for diabetes, one for your heart, one for cholesterol, one for your sugar shots, one for everything, for freaking migraines and headaches and depression.
Antidepressant. A water pill.
Crazy. Like,
and here's the thing. So take a look. I'm going to show you guys this. Hold on. So this was me. I don't know if we can. Actually, I think I can do this. Hold on a second, guys.
Wow.
So I just want to show this for a minute. So this was me as a bodybuilder, right?
Oh, okay.
And then over medicated for a rotator cuff. So they said it was all in my head, the pain that I had. So they put me on 17 drugs. It was actually more than that. And I was on these drugs for 2 decades. But I did gain this weight, like 50 pounds of this in the first 2 weeks. And then the rest of 50 pounds, probably over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, something like that. I can't remember. It was 2 decades ago. But then found health and wellness by using plants and energy-based healing. And so the thing is, they had a predetermined way. That's how they got me, because I was, don't get me wrong, I wasn't eating right. Okay. Hostess ho-hos, ding dongs, all before just saying. But the and so I don't recommend eating those things before a workout or actually at any point during the day. However, that was my journey. And then they used my love of people against me. Right? So we don't want you to harm somebody else with your moods. So we want you to take these medications to keep you quiet.
What?
So your whole metabolism off. Yeah.
Metabolism. It turned my brain off.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's like those medicines, those medications, it's a form of alchemy. And once it alchemizes into whatever potion that they're they're brewing up in their witch's brew and they're giving it to people.
I love that image.
This is hilarious.
Trouble, toilet trouble.
Commercial. I'm going to get my birds to come in.
It's the mixture of like word magic.
Whoa. They call people like me, like I'm a clairvoyant. I'm the witch, right?
Oh, wow.
I'm the witch. This is funny. This is hilarious.
Different types. The Western witches, they be on some other stuff because it's like, again, they don't study nutrition. I'm a full-time student, so double major. I'm a nursing program, health science major, and then I just recently withdrew from my other major, which was it was biomedical engineering. Yeah, big pharma is witchcraft. Facts.
So that's what I'm trying to say. That's where the witchcraft is. It's not for healers, people.
Seriously, like they embed these spirits. They embed these spirits in these medications because again, everything you do with your hands, you already got the touch. You're already manifesting your energy. So when people take these things and they feel even worse, or they get different adverse symptoms from taking these medications, and those you got to do more. That's a whole karmic loop that you're adding yourself into. Karmic loop in the sense like your soul contract is in a karmic loop now. So now you're looping through one pill, another pill, one pill, and every day it's gonna start to blur and mesh together until it's like you're cracked out.
Yeah,
it cracked out.
That's it. That's what they set in motion from the beginning. Yes, that's the plan.
But it's like a hope. It's like a trial run. Like if she doesn't know for long enough what to do, that's better. Or if she's not informed, then let's hope that she keeps this up so that whatever happens.
It's a check. It's a big check, and they don't care.
Want you to know.
They don't. That's what I was saying. They don't study. They don't study nutrition.
Yeah.
They study theory.
And that's what I was getting at. That we can't be mad at them because they're doing what they're trained to do, and they got into nursing because they really wanted to help people, and they were just taught, information that doesn't heal. And I know some doctors, several matter of fact, that are MDs. That converted to integrative medicine.
That's great. Because most people, again, I don't know how you're in that field and you don't ask questions. So that's why I say if you're a grown adult, I'm sorry. If you're a grown adult and you're harming people by giving them these medications, the doctors don't even take the medications. They do drugs. Like, drugs. Drugs. They do hard drugs. They aren't opioids themselves. So it's like,
well, so yeah, and there is
How can they help you? And
guys, I'm
know
going to
too
go to
many
commercial
doctors.
real quick.
Blind can lead the blind. Yeah.
I'm going to go to commercial real quick, and I'm going to bring on my girls, you know, Tinkerbell and Fagala. So be right
Oh,
back.
snap.
And Naima, when my commercial one that I'm playing now stops, will you play some Blog Talk, a couple commercials?
Okay.
girls?
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Hi, I'm Jodi Suson with Suson Essentials. I started Suson Essentials in 2015 because of a personal health journey. I was over-medicated and put on 19 different medications. And yes, I reversed all my chronic diseases using plant and energy-based healing. It was amazing. At Suson Essentials, we support both consumers and businesses, and we do that with helping your employees or yourself with a food as medicine mindset. How Suson Essentials supports businesses and consumers is we teach people about a food as medicine mindset. So we support people on how to support their own immune system, how to support their brain health, how to support their emotional well-being. And we do that all with plant and an energy-based healing.
I'm Beata, your holistic life coach. These
what
days,
the hell?
more
She got
important than
parents.
physical, mental,
Oh my God, they're so
and
beautiful.
spiritual health.
My bad.
Are you consciously breathing deeply in stressful
gosh.
moments? Do you have a plan or daily routine to maintain balance in your awesome body? Are you struggling to be disciplined in your eating habits? When you partner with me, I'll help you develop a personalized health plan that works for your particular lifestyle. You can find out more about me at yourholisticlifecoach.com, where you can also review my 3-step protocol to guide you to abundant health. That's yourholisticlifecoach.com, and I'm Beata.
Hi, Sage.
Do you worry about finances, family, health, job, relationships? Are you in pain? Do you feel stuck? If you answered yes to any of these questions, help is available. Don't worry, you're not alone. It's part of the healing process. You only feel this way because you haven't mastered the voices in your head. No hype, just down-to-earth, solid, workable tools and techniques that you can practice daily. It's really food for the good. Whether you want to learn how not to worry about anything, reverse type 2 diabetes, publish a book, promote your product, or just make some money. To take advantage of the deal of the day, go to zeldaspeaks.com or call 312-409-6619. Mention promo code The Female Solution and get free shipping. That's zeldaspeaks.com, 312-409-6619. Stop worrying today. Visit zeldaspeaks.com.
All righty, we are back. Yes.
All right. Get Brianna back in.
You have your children there, huh? Oh, I'm training to be
Girls that I gave birth to.
Yeah, look at that. So look, Fagala and Tinkerbell, I'm in training to be an interspecies communicator, so I'm gonna be needing you all's help as I practice my skills.
Wow.
Stop it.
They just said that you're doing a very good job and that you have the skills.
And put it back in the bag.
Oh, let me see.
Put it all back in here.
So,
Oh, sorry.
You know, I think it really is good that young women are able to hear you all's story and get the courage that they're going to need when they, because like you say, the hospitals will make you feel like you're stupid, you know, like, well, I'm the doctor, I know best. And so people have been intimidated by doctors forever, and we've kind of been conditioned as a society to do whatever the doctor says, because we've been thinking that the doctor knows best. And
crazy.
so, you know, even though our instincts will say something's wrong, but the doctor says, no, you need to do this. And so we follow it anyway. So I'm really glad that you all are putting out this message so that young people who are giving birth now can take back control of that process. Because we have really been messed up by this medical system. I don't understand why they don't train doctors better. I mean, even about nutrition. When I gave birth, and they were giving me all this hard beef and everything to eat, and I'm thinking, and later when I understood better, I thought, now why would they give me food that would probably cause me to have constipation and everything? And I just gave birth. You know, your system needs to smoothly
replenish.
Yes, and
yeah, it's all gone. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, they just, it's not right that doctors are trained.
It's not right,
but it's life. Generate money for the medical.
Well,
they don't care.
They don't care. Right. So we have to grow. We're the ones that have to take the veil off, and
because they don't care.
And
they have been running this system for such a long time. They've been running this system. We can't possibly think that one day a good doctor is going to be like, this is not right, and make a change. It's not going to happen because they want to check, and they're going to get their check.
No, that's true. Wait, hold on, Brianna. I'm going to call you on that. I'm going to tell you there's a lot of good doctors out there that are making the change.
Yes. Good ones?
So I know a lot of them.
Well, Western medicine doctors. We're not talking about holistic doctors and like.
But then we have to make that distinction but I'm also going to tell you that there are a lot of Western medicine doctors that are converting.
I'm not talking about them.
They're integrative, right? And so when they're doing that, I mean, some of them woke up, and then some of them are going to be sleeping, like, because that's what they do, right?
Yeah. And I think a lot of them too, after this vaccine mandate and whatnot, definitely.
We can't talk about that word on the show. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Just because we want to stay on.
It will get flagged. Yeah. They said the what? Block.
Pretty much. And we just lost Naima. That's weird. She'll come back on. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of really good doctors out there, and a lot. And the thing is that they just got trained incorrectly. And then when those that woke up and learned, they were like, okay, so yeah, we're going to move this way. And they started getting new training. And then there are some that have always just been out for the money,
Yeah, absolutely.
And you have that. And I just want to, because I don't want to rail on the just one profession.
No, of course not.
It happens in all professions.
No, of course not, because I do herb work myself, and I be alchemizing stuff as well. So it's not to say about all doctors. It's just the doctors that, again, are in it for the money. It's more directed towards them because they are conscious of what they're doing. They know that there's a better resolution, and they also know if individuals get a hold of that resolution, then it's over, and they don't like that. So I'm talking about those individuals who lack integrity, which you can tell, like, seriously, how doctors speak to you when you question them, or when you like try to find out some information, or even I ask them what's the ingredients in the vaccine, since you're saying it's supposed to help me. Propylene glycol is antifreeze that they're putting in your blood system. Nobody needs that. Like, you can't tell me that this is good for me, and you got propylene glycol, you got aluminum, you got formaldehyde, you got all these cancerogens in these vaccines flowing through my body, which takes years, especially like birth control and stuff. It takes years to cleanse that out your womb and out your reproductive system. And by then, with abortions and miscarriages and all these other, like, some women get like 21-day periods and have endometriosis and all these things. With all that stuff on the reproductive system, you won't even be able to reproduce because it's heavy. It's all
Well,
those
and
heavy
that's
metals.
really the big scare, Brianna, right?
Yeah.
The big scare is that, so I don't typically talk about this on the show, not that I ever keep it a secret. It's in my book. But, I had a full hysterectomy in 2010, I think it was.
Wow.
And shortly, or 2011, it was shortly after my mom had passed from having, she had ovarian cancer, Parkinson's, a variety of, cocktail of diseases, right? And the reason I had a full hysterectomy was, well, one, I had so much pain. I was bleeding like nonstop. And when they finally got in there, they found that all of my reproductive organs were covered in tumors. Now, by that time, I've been on all those medications probably for 16, 17 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right? So,
it's like, dang, it takes almost double or triple to even get rid of all that stuff on
You
your
know,
system, which you probably already did your flushes and stuff because you got to be able to like renew the blood, the colon, everything for like a whole
I did. I mean,
Yeah.
this is what I do.
I know you did.
I mean, I'm a nutritionist. I teach people how to detoxify their environment, their physical environment, their spiritual environment, and and when I say physical environment, I'm talking about your house, your car, where you work, and then of course your own body.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually start with the basics. Just clean up your water supply, make sure it's filtered, because even the bottled water has they say they don't have BPA, but there's a list of all of the handful of bottled water that doesn't have fluoride in it, right? And so most bottled water has fluoride, and fluoride will calcify your pineal gland. So, and I have, one of the things that I sell on my website, and it's not a sales call, but I sell on my website all those things that I use in my home that I use to reclaim my health.
Yeah.
So I'm using these things, right? And I researched these when I was disabled. So anyway, so if you're not filtering the water or drinking, and there's only like one, let me just add Naima back in. There's only a couple of bottled waters, like there's box water, which is not doesn't have plastic. Naima, so we were talking about removing that toxicity, from your home. So sorry, she has something to say, which is why she said, what are you wanting to say?
Yeah, you have to translate because otherwise they'll keep hollering. So you have to make sure you acknowledge her, input.
Well, seriously, she has something she wants to say. Okay, I'm listening. So she wants me to tell her story, which we do from time to time. So when I adopted Fagla, which is this, right? This is Fagla, Kelly Kaik. Fagla came to me as a 6-week-old, and I wish I had pictures to show easily, but she couldn't even get her head out of the dish. Her whole body was in the bird dish.
Oh wow!
She couldn't get her little body out of her head up off of the floor. She had been given, there were 2 issues. One, there are specific, things, starts with a V, that go into birds, specifically this species. And so they gave her that, that V thing. And we had to keep these 2 quarantined from each other because she was what's called shedding the V, right?
Oh, wow.
Meaning it comes out of her feces, it comes out of her mouth, it comes out of her, which is not good because they already know that we don't want that on Tinkerbell. right? This is back in 2016, right? That's number one. Number two, the person that I bought Fagala from, which was in Niles, Illinois, my now deceased veterinarian, who was amazing, refused to refer anyone to that store anymore. And here's why. I mean, he did so many uncouth things, but when I got her, he handed me a Ziploc baggie of pet food. And it was like in a meal. And he said, well, I want you to mix this up and make sure it's at this degree, like whatever the degree was. Okay. So I did that. He failed to tell me that the bird food needed to be refrigerated.
Oh.
Now, my bird food, I've had birds since I was 7 years old. I'm 58. I've never refrigerated bird food before. Probably something you want to tell somebody. So as I'm feeding her Faggy, she's getting sicker because I'm feeding her bacteria.
Oh.
Right? So she's getting sicker by the moment. And so I use the same protocol on her that I used on me to start reclaiming my health. So I took sweet potatoes, right? Okay. I took sweet potatoes. I mashed them up. I added echinacea.
Never heard of that one.
Non-alcohol echinacea, because some of them add alcohol. Dandelion root.
Oh, yummy.
All right. Turmeric. A touch of black pepper. Right. And this was her meal. Plus, I'm sure I added other nutrients. This was helping her. And if anybody knows anything about, which they probably don't, I'm sure you guys do, but sweet potatoes have way more minerals than most other, potatoes on the planet. They're just so good for you. So, anything else you want me to share about that, Fagala? So you're fighting. What do you? Okay, I'm hearing you. What do you want me to share?
What's interesting though, a lot of the things that you named, all these natural things, you never hear those things mentioned at doctors' offices. They have, like you said, all these derivatives that are synthetic, and some of my natural holistic doctors were explaining that insurance only pays for all of the unnatural things that we're bullied into using.
The generic ones.
All of man, it's all a money loop. You can't get paid for natural healing methods like the chiropractic therapies and all the things that don't involve drugs won't be covered by insurance. And anything that you take that would heal your body also won't be covered by insurance.
So that's why we're moving to cash pay.
Yeah.
And that's why we're moving to cash pay. So Fagala wants me to share this other part. And I've never shared this before. And I think people need to see it. And so Tinker, you're going to come here. And then Fagala, you can let me show everybody. Okay. So I want you to take a look. I don't know if you can see this on her. She gets a little sensitive. You see she doesn't have nails?
Oh.
2 nails are missing.
Oh.
Wow.
Why?
They eat small birds?
We clip nails. I clip her nails. But what I want to tell you is when she was a baby and all this was happening to her and she's being given these drugs and toxic food, they go in to clip her nails. Relax. The whole nail came out.
Oh
my God. Right. So I hear her screaming bloody murder and I run back there. I'm like, what's happening to Fagala? Right? And so her body lacked nutrients in a way that when she clipped the nail, like you would clip your nail,
fingernails,
her entire nail bed came out.
Oh, wow. That's
yes. And so this is what she wants me to tell you, that, she says, we're the canaries in the coal mine, Mom. So if it's happening to us, what do you think is going to happen to you?
Right.
We're sensitive than the humans. We're here to teach you a lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, all the things that we get fed that are non-nutritious foods, that denutritionized foods, what's going to happen to your body? So when you get older, of course, you get osteoporosis and all of these other degenerative diseases because we're fed non-food and we're fed food that has no nutritional value. They start you out in the beginning trying to feed you formula so that you breastfeed your children so that they don't get the immunities that would be in your breast milk. So from the beginning, they have us set up to have a sickly life. So we have to keep paying for their artificial medications to reduce the pain and discomfort that they cause.
So I want to add to that. And this is why I promote organic food or responsibly produced food, okay, which means it's free of chemicals, so much. People always say to me, I can't afford organic. And I'm here to tell you, you can't afford not to go organic.
Yeah.
Period.
Because the glyphosate.
So much. There's no excuse. No excuse. The farmer's market, I like decaps. Shout out to Decaps Market.
Oh,
Decaps Farmer's Market.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't been to the farmer's market out in Georgia yet. I'm actually looking to find a farmer.
Yeah.
I have some. I got some.
Okay.
And they
do deliveries. Yeah. So I got a question for Briana. Because you say you're studying now. So do you find sometimes a conflict between what you have studied on your own in terms of natural methods, natural healing, natural all that, and what's being presented in the school system that's kind of more designed to steer people to the medical industry?
So what's the question? If I found out,
do you find sometimes maybe it seems like it's a conflict between what they're teaching and what you think
it's the complete opposite to what we need, especially to what our kids need, our melanated kids need in specific, because it goes against our natural circadian of how we move as people, because we're not even supposed to be in houses. We're not even supposed to be in the underneath indoors in these prisons and in these imprisonments, because again, it goes against our natural body, our body clock. Like even how we wake up, it goes against our body clock. So me studying what I'm studying now, which is in the nursing program, and health sciences, and then I don't know what you're asking though. Like, are you asking me the difference between?
Well, if you see that there's like
a difference,
you mentioned a conflict between what you know is best and what they're teaching.
How do you
resolve that in your mind? Like, okay,
everything is the opposite.
Yeah.
I feel like everything is the opposite. Even when you look up in the sky, everything is the opposite. Even when it comes to our health, everything is the opposite. So they're teaching us Christopher Columbus, and they're teaching us, the slave trade, and they're teaching us about the Indians, and they're teaching us about all these things that really is there, again, just like in the Western medical field, they make up stuff, and then they make up stuff to cover up their makeup stuff. It's basically a textbook. It's basically a social studies textbook that you're reading. It's like lie on top of lie on top of lie on top of lie. Now everybody's confused and nobody knows which is what. So again, that even causes conflict, because now one person thinks that they're right, the other person thinks that they're right, but there's no concrete proof except for what they are controlling, what they're putting in the textbooks. So it's like what can you do? What can you do?
You guys, we have a caller.
We
have a caller. So 779-1, we're going to bring you on. And, we're talking about, how to change a channel if you don't like Life's program, which is what these two women did, right?
Yeah.
I'm listening, right now to Briana, and she's basically telling us that, she's going through the system, but she knows what the truth is, and she knows what she's going to do anyway. So there you go. She's the channel. So I'm going to bring you on 779-801. Go ahead. And
Grand Rising.
Grand Rising.
To you and your dealer.
Who's this?
This is Laika. I just wanted to say, why don't you, if you have it, could you discuss ways to clean toxic chemicals from vaccines and out of your body. Some of the things that
Let's
can
go.
be used.
Let's go.
Well,
Let's go.
How do you clean? Yeah, if you had to take the shot, how do you get it out of your system?
Well, the greatest.
Yeah, so I can't really discuss
Speak
it
it,
on
sister.
the show. I cannot
The best
discuss it on
thing
the
that's gonna
show.
work.
I'd love to discuss it with you, but I will just maybe I'll just do I'll send you a text message. Send me a text message at 847-738-0242, and I will tell you about all those ways to do that. But we want to keep the show on, and we don't want to get canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
it's
because
interesting
it's
they are censoring people who are trying to help the situation, and there are a lot of people who are feeling kind of distressed because maybe for job reasons or whatever they were forced to take the shot.
Mm-hmm.
And they really feel like if I could just do something to get this out of my body, because
there is a solution. So I'm just going to say this.
But
there
y'all don't
are
use the keywords. You
solutions.
can't use the keywords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to talk in code in order to share
So
information.
talking code, I would just say, have you ever tried noni berry, Tahitian noni berry? If
Yeah.
you look at my website and go to the blogs, actually, I can show that because that's science.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't want to get flagged.
I don't think if I can interject, I don't think that there's a real way to fully get those things out, to be honest.
Well, I think eventually, because our bodies are designed to remove waste. I think it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And if I was gonna just off the top of my head, just instinct, I would go on a fast.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Fasting.
Yeah.
I have something
Cell
better.
rejuvenation, cold and cleanse.
Yeah.
White blood cells, red blood cell cleanse.
Yeah.
Enemas.
Yeah.
This
You
is
would have
easy
to,
time. Hold on.
For a while.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of work and consistency.
Okay, so Maika, the New Age, which is a company that I work with, publishes major new discovery on black from binary and cell. And these products are called Tahitian Noni. They have one for focus, immunity, sleep, and original. I can't help you get that. And then Bagel has something she wants to say because she's biting me again. Okay, I hear you. Don't bite, but tell me what you have to say. Okay, no biting. Okay, what do you want to say? She says people can reclaim their health. And it's mindset. Hold on. I'm listening to you. Don't bite. Nice. She's saying people can reclaim their health. It's mindset. Okay, why are you doing that? And what else do you want to say? Just don't bite me. She gets kind of mashugana. All right. Let me close it off. What else do you want to say? You guys keep talking amongst yourselves. I'll interject when she tells me what she wants.
But I know that a lot of people who really were not in favor of doing it had to. It was either that or keep their job. I mean, it's so ugly the way we as a society were forced to take something that many people's intuition told them was not good for them.
And that's what, thank you, Naima, you're channeling Fagala. And Fagala is saying, trust yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? She's calming down.
You can't go into fight or flight
Being
because
an animal communicator.
Yes.
it's all I feel like it's like all kind of like a test.
To that list of
yes.
That other people
Who's talking? Oh.
What's that, Maika? Sorry.
said I would add activated charcoal to that list.
Oh yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
So Maika, you're absolutely right. So activated charcoal is going to pull all the toxicity. However, there's this chemistry that the Tahitian noni berry has that supports the spike protein not binding, and to human cells. And really, that's what's so critical here is that this spike protein, which, let me just channel this. Will the activated charcoal, spirit guides, please come in. Charcoal. reverse the effects of any of the injections? No. So that it's not going to work. Activated charcoal is really good at pulling out glyphosate, other toxins, but this is different.
We talking nanotechnology, people.
Yes, yeah.
And activated charcoal itself is very strong and could actually cause a lot more damage. A lot of people think that activated charcoal is good, but I mean, think about it. Should you be consuming any charcoal?
For 5 days in a week, right, ladies?
Yes.
Max. Because if you're pulling everything out, how's your body going to survive?
Even this is random, but it just came to my head when you guys was talking about that. Literally, I was trying to get a T-Mobile service, and they had a cancer warning when you get the SIM chip. Ooh. It had a whole cancer. You know that California cancer warning, like when you roll a spliff and then it has the California cancer warning. Yeah. It had one of those on the cell phone thing. So the 5G, everything, stress, all of that stuff is just, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
And I wanted to say too, I don't even know how we survived for so long. I mean, human beings got to be strong because you have people that, I mean, damn, just like you said, 17 years on a medication. There's people that go their whole lives on a medication, crap. You know what I'm saying? Living on natural life and still don't die.
Yeah. 99 years old. And
let me tell you why. My sister here, Vieta Robinson, who has Friday and Sundays, she makes the ultimate point. And I mean the ultimate point. Are you good with it? Okay. Stress.
Yeah, that'll kill you.
Stress will kill you and your mindset, which is stress, all day long.
Yeah.
First, love yourself. Fly. Be the wind beneath your own wings.
Ooh, I like that. Be the wind.
I like that one.
Your own wings. That's
you don't got no damn choice.
Really.
I had a brother.
I have a question for you all, though. I have a question for you all because I know a lot of women are probably thinking, well, I have to. I'm, maybe I'm pregnant. I'm going to the hospital, and during these times where they're sort of pushing that shot. How do you suggest people resist if they're under a lot of pressure? Like you say, they create these symptoms and then they say, oh, you might have COVID. Well, just to be safe, you should take the shot. How do you advise women to resist what their instinct is telling them is not a good thing to do, especially because they're carrying a child? What do you suggest they say or do to
know yourself?
In the ground.
Know yourself. When you want to really know yourself and you really want to know, like you have to know your rights. You have to. It's your God-given rights. You have to stay in your sovereignty, especially when we're faced with these obstacles or these adversities, because if not, somebody will choose your path for you. So you have to make it up in your head, like, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Because I'm telling you, a bunch of doctors told me, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to get this. And I didn't do nothing because you have to be able to stand firm. Be nice. You have to be able to stand firm in what you believe in, who you are. You cannot let anybody come to you and tell you, well, your baby's heart rate is messed up. Let's hook you up to this machine. Ooh. And now you got to have a birth like a C-section. Like you can't let somebody tell you about yourself and about your woman body.
Is that people need to come to people like you, right, to give birth. So they're not even like exposed or put in a position where they're going to have to make that choice.
Yeah, and sometimes it's an insurance question because again, if they're either public aid, insurance, or whatever, and you want the natural.
It's expensive. Yeah.
And you'd have to pay for that because insurance won't pay for that.
It's expensive, yeah. And the thing is, that's what I was saying. Like my midwife, I think she was 5,000. She was like 5,000, 6,000. We had the money ready. My bad. We had the money ready, and sis didn't even want to come an hour away to check up on us. So I just said, okay, I'm gonna do it myself. No doctor, whatever. But you gotta be able to want. You have to be able to want it, like seriously. And the best advice that I got this year so far, my friend said to me, he was like, well, if you want to see change, you know what you got to do. And here I am, I'm like ready to write it down. I'm like, yeah, what is it? What is it? He's like, all you gotta do is change. That's it.
Well, yeah, start with
Gotta change.
yourself. So I did a post this morning. If you want to change the world, start with yourself.
Right.
And it's always going to be that way. You can't expect somebody like, again,
That's
like
the
that's
change.
why with my spirit work or like my herbal work, what is that? With
If
my
everybody
change your own mind,
everybody's worried about changing their own perception, that's going to be the change. It's going to be everybody's going to be changed. So the reality will shift. And I'm learning that even just being here with my friend, like we get so fixated on the external, like, and you know that there's some work that you got to do inside. So if you just focus on yours, your external is going to shift.
Right.
And if you don't see that shift, there's something you're overlooking. There's something that you know you're avoiding. There's something, just got to dig a little deeper, spend a little more time with yourself, and get away from these distractions as much as we can, and really just come back in.
Because you can't expect anybody. Nobody is going to want to help you. You're going to have to essentially want to help yourself.
Yeah.
And you can't expect, again, somebody to want to come to you and educate you on something if you're not really about it. So you have to make up in your mind, because I know Mom, she knew the knowledge, but she didn't apply none of it because she was scared.
Yeah.
So when you live in that fear base, you got to get out of there. And it's scary because it requires you to retrieve your child self. It requires you to look at the shadows. Most people are scared of the damn shadows, so they keep to what's comfortable. The doctor is comfortable. Even though it's uncomfortable, it's a comfortable option because you believe that you're going to be okay. But you're giving your belief, you're giving your trust and faith into another external individual who don't really give a damn.
Yeah. Right. It's not their life. Yeah. I mean, they're going to get paid whether they'll get paid whether you live or die.
So you got to care about yourself, and when you step into that hospital, you got to say, you got to know like those birthrights, like.
Yeah, know your intentions.
People are saying you have to be willing to look at what's not being said.
Right, right. What information are they withholding? Because they're not going to tell you anything that would lessen their paycheck. That's unfortunately the reality.
Yeah, they're gonna tell you it's okay and this is not gonna do anything. And how are you gonna tell a client, oh, this cytotext doesn't help anything or it doesn't do anything, there's no symptoms, there's no adverse effects, but then you look it up and you know at the end of those commercials and it's like
horrible side effects. They sit quietly.
It's like possibly death, possibly cancer, possibly breast cancer, possibly, and it's just like
they call suicide, Yeah.
Right.
Or possibilities of me dying.
How is this helping me in any way?
Yeah. You get all these give you a headache, but they cause
there's
death.
no way a doctor can tell me they know more about my human body than I do myself. And I don't have to be in school for 10 years and all of that stuff to know my body. Like, you really got to look within and do your own research, because if you let somebody else research you, they could be misleading you and telling you your arm is a foot and you're believing it because that's
okay. Anna, Naima, Bianca, we're going to go to commercial real quick.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Cell Care with Jodi Suson. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Wellbeing with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution.
So while we're waiting for Bianca and Briana to come back, I want to talk about the fear, the retaliation, the anger, all those things, people. Because as long as you're living in fear, as long as you're living with resentment, as long as you're living with anger, guess what? You're attracting.
You're dying.
You can't even. You're attracting more of it though too.
Yes. That's also how we're conditioned from birth. Let me ask another thing, since you mentioned the fear thing, because I was really very adamant. I'm glad my obstetrician was conscious of that. I did not have my child slapped into reality, and he kind of massaged her until she started breathing. She kind of came out sort of, crying anyway, but there was no slap on the bottom. And that's another thing we keep thinking, so we have to slap them so they'll cry, so they'll get
that is witchcraft.
Yeah, but how many generations have been slapped into life? so that becomes the beginning of how you come here. The fear is already instilled, the pain is already instilled in your brain by how you the first sensation. So how did you all deal with that in terms of knowing that you don't hit the child the first thing to make them cry? How
was silent. He popped out silent.
Oh wow!
So Luce had
smiling.
Smiling. Wow.
She had a lot of liquid, and I think she was like.
Wow. I have the answer to that. I've never had a baby. I can tell you what the answer is.
What's that?
Humming. Humming.
I like humming. People think it's annoying, but I love humming.
Yeah, and humming, there's proof about how it helps heal trauma. So what better thing to do than to hum while you're giving birth?
Oh yeah, my husband and I, we were doing we were deciding,
Yes, moan, groan, let it out. It's supposed to be sacred and beautiful.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a beautiful experience. So now, having said that, what do you think about philosophically how we have ingrained in our many of our religious teachings that women are supposed to go through pain in childbirth from the what is it taught?
Adam and Eve
being punished from what Eve did, so we're supposed to bear in pain. What do you think about that ingrained in people's minds, so that they don't learn the things that would actually prevent it from being painful? And how can we change that?
Remember who you are, baby. It goes back to who you think you are.
And again, you can't let nobody determine that. Nobody can determine that. And we just live in a society where to fit into something, you can't be everything. You got to have a label. You got to have a title. You have to be one thing. And it's hard, especially hard to be a mom. Y'all see I got my pole into that. I be chilling. You can't be just one thing. Like, we are human beings and we're evolving at a rapid pace, even as we speak, so we can't, it's impossible to stay the same. I worry about people who are like 1 year they're one thing and then they don't develop nothing new. They're not, it's nothing new. Like, it's not healthy. That's not healthy for the development. And I feel like maybe it's everybody their own unfolding path, but I tell people, do what feels good, and that's it. You can't have somebody make you feel bad for what feels good, because that's how we create, not to say monsters, but that's how we create robots. Like, seriously, people be moving robotic because it's like, again, especially in the even though you're taught to think that way, it's still giving soulless. It's giving without the soul, because once you go in the medical field, you have to know those procedures and those protocols, and you got to repeat those procedures and those protocols, and you got to learn those keywords. You got to learn the abbreviations. You have to learn all that. So it's a program.
Yeah,
you're learning a program, and once you're stuck in it's like the military. You're stuck in the program. Once you're in that program, and you're in there for 20 years, most people get tired after the 20th year, and you're like, "Dang, this was all a lie." They're not going to take the next 20 years to change. They don't want to. They're comfortable. Yeah. Once you're comfortable, it's gonna be hard to get out. You have to really, 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 really want it. Like, you have to really want to do the work. And that work, I'm sorry, people think it's love and light, and it's not, okay? Because that's not where the growth is.
Well, no, growth is not love and light.
it might not look like it as a whole. It might, because it's gonna be a spiral, but in all, it comes down to love.
Yes.
Well,
And
so
you create love and light.
yes. So thank you for saying that, because hold on a second. Bianca, I do think that when you, like, the process of doing the shadow work is not easy. It is so not easy. Naima helps me, you know. So
you need help. There's
We all
nothing
have to
wrong with
have
that.
an ear to listen, because sometimes we
can't do it alone.
Can't do it
I'm
alone.
tired of people think that we got to do everything alone. We can't. It's impossible. It's seriously impossible. People who have that mentality, like, you got to do it alone, you got to do the work alone. Essentially, yes, you do the work alone. But the tools and the support around you, that is your choice.
Support. Yeah, choose people who can be your support. That's
right. And don't attack those people that are helping you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And be a space to hear.
Yeah.
Listen,
have
take
to.
action, because they don't want to repeat themselves 10 times. Right.
Yes. Even though it might take us 10 times before it finally sinks in, but
yeah, because your brain and your body, like, I could know better. I could say, like, I'm just now really in the space to where I'm like, okay, like, I can remember some good days. Like, I've had some happy days the past couple weeks. Like, I can remember my weeks. I can remember my day to day. And I guess because, like, my brain fog from after pregnancy, because it takes the woman body 2 years supposedly to heal from after giving birth. And I had, like, brain fog. Like, it was bad. Like, it was really bad. Like, yeah, no. But with that being said, it's just like, again, once you tune into yourself, I realize I really do have all the answers, and I can't expect any external things to create this happiness that I'm trying to achieve. Like, nobody can do that for me. I gotta do it for myself, and it's complicated. It can be hard. Like, no, it's seriously hard.
Wow. Whoa.
Zelda says you all look like Maya Angelou and Eartha Kitt. Bianca was like,
yeah, wow. Thanks for having younger versions of Maya Angelou.
I gotta see who that is.
And Eartha Kitt, Bianca, beautiful, wholesome, wise spirits. And I don't know if you caught this. Love these young wise women. Looking forward to having them on Monday morning mindfulness. So I'll connect you with Zelda. And then I just, here's the thing, guys. Let me just, I want to make sure that people understand that no one ever said that getting from point A to point B was going to be easy.
Oh, it's a process.
They make it seem that way, though. They make it seem like it's instant.
Yeah.
Everything is instant gratification nowadays.
Yeah.
But instant famous. TikTok
and the work has to take time. Yeah.
All you gotta do is copy paste. Everything is like this.
Yeah.
Everything is like this. Everything is like this. And it does really something to your serotonin levels. What you say, B?
But it's really not. We gotta realize that it took so much strategizing and planning for things to be the way that they are. Yeah. We think it's so fast, but if you're 20 years of being conditioned a certain way, you know, even in the school system, you think it went by fast, but they strategically knew the information, the words, the setting, colors even, and how it was going to affect your mind, you know? So it went deep and they took the time, and you have to reclaim all of that time back and learn all of these different things and how they affect the human body so that you can literally reclaim yourself.
Reprogram. Because
reprogram.
Like you say, it's the lifetime of programming reinforced by everything, multimedia and everything that we ingest. So once the light bulb goes on in your head and you realize you've been programmed, you got to go through the step-by-step process of deprogramming. And like you were saying, Jodi, the fear that comes from maybe being criticized or attacked by people because you're saying something different than what's been accepted. It's a lot of courage. You have to literally not care what other people think and listen to your own intuition that's telling you you have to change and you have to do something different.
Right. You have to be willing to not be liked.
Yeah.
To invite
not care.
your soul tribe into your life.
Yeah.
And I'm going to repeat that. Be willing to not be liked such that it will invite your soul tribe into
Right.
your community.
People don't realize that journey is long. I'm just
Yeah,
now
it is.
attracting likewise kin, like for years and years on end. I like when you look at it, it's like everybody who falls like while you're rising and while your mind is shifting and while you keep evolving, and you see like just the fall of everything that's not for you. It be the closest ones. It be family.
Yeah.
Like now I be listening to people in their karmic loops and I'm rethinking. I'm like, this person is in a loop. And the fact that I'm aware that this person is in a loop and I essentially was in that loop because we're reflections, I must be getting up there to a point now. And it's like what to do. And you know, it gets lonely, but you have to embrace. I read something where it was saying like embracing that longing feeling of wanting to be in that community, because again, the day and age we live in, people be fake. I'm not gonna even lie. Even the spiritual community is so many ego. Girl, you know how it is in
pretending
Atlanta.
to be at a higher consciousness than they really are.
Yeah, so you would think somebody's at this spiritual caliber that's up here when really it's equivalent to like Patrick. Like it's a show. It's a show, or let's use Squidward, okay? Because it's a show.
Hold on, Brianna. What was it that made you willing to let friends drop off? Right? What? And I want to want both of you to answer the question. We have 5 minutes, not even.
Yeah.
So, brief. What was it that made you willing to let people in your life drop off to invite your tribe? I mean, keep in mind we met at Whole Foods, right?
Yeah.
Bianca, you're muted. Hold on, unmute.
Sure.
You remuted yourself.
She's pressing mute. I'm pressing unmute. She's pressing mute. I will say when I started to veer off and being by myself, it's much more peaceful than being around even, I hate to say it, parents, family members that was causing so much pain. I realized I had to do what I had to do. I was having so much fun by myself outside, just doing all types of crazy things without having to fear judgment or anything like that. That I felt so good, and I was discovering myself. Nobody could tell me nothing. I wasn't living by a book. I wasn't funny. You know, I didn't have a schedule. I was doing when you truly live in your own and you just flow. Couldn't I beat that?
Right.
Who was around and who wasn't around, because my peace was worth so much more. Like
and stepping into a space where I'm like currently now reclaiming it for all its entirety, because I'm all of its entirety. Even if it's foreign to me, even if it's taboo to me, it feels good. It's comfortable. Like I'm not hurting myself. I'm not hurting my son. You know, being able to express myself, especially coming from a background where certain expressions are diminished. You can't say certain stuff in a Black home, period. You can't say certain stuff. You can't do certain stuff. You're getting your behind tore up, period, point blank.
Yeah.
Especially from the South, like
no tolerance for anything different.
Plus religion. So being in this space now where I'm willing to openly explore my sensuality, explore my movement, and really just move and be comfortable and breathe. Yeah. Nobody can tell me nothing. Nobody can say nothing because I like you. Yeah, I like you, but I like myself more. So there's no way you're about to.
First love yourself. Yeah.
There's someone in my life I've been trying to tell that to. I haven't. They don't hear it. I'm like, yeah, I love you, but I love me more.
Yeah.
Period.
First,
let you damage me because I love me more.
Yeah. I
do that. So programming that you have to put somebody else first, right? Yeah. You don't. You. The only person you put first is you.
Right.
Right. And then, and I can't use the analogy of put your mask on anymore.
90 seconds.
But you know, on the plane, you're right. On the plane, they say put on your mask before you help a child, because if you can't breathe, you can't help them. So first, you got to help yourself before you can help anybody else.
That's right. So I want to thank you both for being on the show. We're so grateful that you chose to be on the show, share your story. Fagla says she's grateful. She's hiding behind my hair. I need to chop this mop. Yeah, looking for a beautician near Kennesaw, Georgia. So if you're listening in the area,
You got a
client. Got to be able to put curly hair. And I just want to say that two other things. We have a special offer coming up on Friday, so just tune in for that. We'll tell you that a group of people have come together to bring a package of offerings. They're like $50 that normally would sell for $2,500. And they are tools that you will need for a lifetime. And there's that. And then the other thing, like I said, Quick is launching March 23rd. And then if you really want to reclaim your health, Renew activates the pituitary gland, getting your body, your brain to do what your body needs to do. I take this every day now. I feel better. So you just mix it in your water, drink it down, and it's all clean.
All right.
Great.
Well, I'm excited to have met you all, and I'm looking forward to having you all on more of our program.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes. So excited. Thank you so much for having us. Peace and love.
Yes.
Bye.
Hair grease.
Adios.
She said peace and hair grease. Bye.
Oops, there we go.